Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles. Now, unless you've been living under a rock or you just don't play World of Tanks, you may not be aware that World of Tanks PC has just managed to negotiate a Warhammer 40,000 tie-in. And when I heard the news, admittedly I'm slightly late to the party here, I got quite excited because World of Tanks Blitz actually has proper Warhammer 40,000 tanks. It's got the Predator assault tank, it's got the Rhino, and we've got the KV2. It's exactly the same as the regular KV2, it's just been made to look a bit more Warhammery. Then again, that's not necessarily a bad thing, really, is it? I mean, it's a KV2, and it looks all Warhammery. Neither of these are bad things, it's still a KV2, and the KV2 is a very strong tank, and this is just as strong a tank as the regular KV2. It's exactly the same, there are no differences. Except for the crew. If you get yourself one of these KV2R Valhallas, as they are known, they come with a crew that comes equipped with the Brothers in Arms skill at no extra cost. Which is incredibly nice, because it basically means that you get your first skill for free, and you start trading your second skill as if it was your first skill. The net effect of this is that, well, it's far faster and cheaper to get your second, third, fourth and fifth skills on a tank that comes with Brothers in Arms for free. And if that wasn't enough, it's a did I mention it's a KV2? I mean, what more do you want? No preferential matchmaking, of course. Oh, Jingles, too soon. Yeah, we're still waiting to see how that one pans out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please refer to my earlier World of Tanks video of this week. Then again, the KV2 has never really needed preferential matchmaking in the first place. If you go back far enough, this tank was a tier 5 with this turret and this gun. And at the time, the matchmaking spread was 3 tiers in either direction, so at tier 5 this machine would fight tier 8s. No tier 8s in this game, of course. This is a tier 6 maximum battle. This is Valhalla for the KV2. I don't think there are a huge number of tanks on the enemy team that this tank cannot one-shot kill if it penetrates the armour. And I should probably introduce the gentleman playing the KV2 for us today. Nearly 3 minutes into the video and I still haven't actually... Jingles, you crap. Don't ever change. Yes, I know. This is Absonol, by the way. This is actually his first ever game in this machine. 25 rounds of high explosive, which is only right and proper, as you can see. There's his first kill. And 5 rounds of armour piercing, which is 5 more rounds of armour piercing than most people ever equip on this tank. Still, there's no accounting for tastes. 86mm of penetration on this machine's high explosive ammunition. Now that might not seem like a lot, but remember, this is high explosive ammunition with 910 average damage. In all respects, it's exactly the same as your regular KV2. His team are already down a third of the team, 5 tanks dead, and they're being outflanked. Top tip: never present the side of your tank to a KV2. There goes one of the enemy tier 6s, just obliterated. 86mm of penetration, and you can be fighting tier 4 tanks that rarely have 86mm of armour. Machines like that, which often have less than 350 health. Hell, most tier 5 tank destroyers only have 350 health. And, as we all know by now, the KV2's 152mm high explosive ammunition with 86mm of penetration also has 910 average damage. This is why we love the KV2. Of course, the gun isn't terribly accurate, but, you know, with great derp comes very, very bad accuracy. So, the Matilda Black Prince didn't take the hint the first time. He really thinks he's going to win this fight. Yeah, I don't think so. I really, really don't think so. Yeah, there we go. That was fairly inevitable. Of course, the great guilty pleasure here, and one of the reasons why everybody loves the KV2 so much, but really doesn't like admitting it, isn't the fact that the KV2 does not care if it gets up tiered and ends in tier 8 matches, because it's got a 152mm howitzer that fires high explosive shells that do 910 average damage. I mean, that's a good reason, but it's not the reason. The reason, well, that's the reason sitting there right in front of him. The KV2 can also face tier 4 tanks, like that Panzer 38 NA, who clearly has no idea what he's facing, because if he did, he would be turning around and taking Billy Big Steps and... yeah, too late, sunshine. Far too late. You hung around in front of a KV2 while it was reloading. What did you expect? Well, he's only tier 4. I mean, it's entirely possible he's only been playing World of Tanks since this morning. So, he had no idea what to expect. He'll know what to expect next time, of course. And unless the next time he's in a Tiger 2, he's probably going to treat the KV2 with a little bit more respect than that. But you can admit it, you know, we're among friends here, we all know each other. You can be honest. This is why we play the KV2. When you get up tiered and you're in a tier 8 game, well, you can still inflict plenty of pain and grief on tier 8 opposition with this howitzer. And when you don't get up tiered, and you have lots of tier 6, 5s and 4s to shoot at, you can crush their hopes and dreams and make them regret their life choices by one-shotting all of them with this monster 152mm howitzer. Meanwhile, Absalom is now one of only 2 tanks left alive on his team against 6 enemies, and the friendly T-34-85M is about to get knocked out, and for the briefest fraction of a second, until he did exactly the same to the enemy T-34-85, Absalom was the last member of his team against those 6 enemies. Now, it's 1 against 5, but ask yourself this question, boys and girls. Just exactly how worried do you think Absalom is? Yeah, probably not very concerned, actually. I mean, why should he be? What's his opposition? There's the Flat Panzer over there, and there's an M3 Stuart. So, oh, there he is. Oh, really? Cover your eyes, kids! Cruelty to small tanks. Okay, Flat Panzer, Stug 4B, that's the tier 4, not the tier 5 version. 2 artillery. Well, you're in a big slow heavy, you should probably be worried about artillery, yeah? Yeah, not really. There we go, 1 damage. 1 damage, and he had his tracks blown off by artillery. And he had his tracks blown off behind cover, so he doesn't really have to worry about any shots from the Jagdpanzer 4. So that was kind of nice. Speaking of which, where did that Jagdpanzer 4 go? Where is the Flat Panzer? Where are the Germans? If he has the slightest bit of sense, with this behemoth rumbling towards him, he's running away as fast as his tracks will carry him. And so, of course, he starts camping. Hello, here I am. I'm over here. How much health does this guy have, do you think? I can't remember, but I know it was, well, it's going to be less than 910 because he's in a Jagdpanzer 4. So even if he was on full health, he can still be one-shotted by the KV2. There he is, on substantially less than full health. And yeah, you better run away, sunshine. Run, run, run just as fast as you can. You can't escape me, I'm a Russian tin can. He's got a 152mm howitzer that fires a little friend that runs faster than you can. Where's he going? Is he going to run and get caught in the open? Oh, he's not, he's coming back. That might have been a good idea if he'd done it a little earlier, but he didn't, and so he's dead. Oh, nearly got flipped. Missed the artillery shot, which is nice, and there's the Stug 4B. Firing gold ammo, of course, because he's only a tier 4, and he has lousy penetration, and this is a KV2. But he severely miscalculated the KV2's reload. That's not a mistake he's liable to make twice. That just leaves Absalom against 2 artillery. To be fair to the Stug 4, he did inflict a substantial amount of damage to him firing that premium ammunition. There's another 0 damage artillery hit. Ho ho ho. How many kills is that? 9 kills. So we're already well past the Top Gun and the Radley Walters. 1 more for the Pools medal. It seems likely he's probably going to finish this game with the Pools medal. You recall earlier I was describing what this tank used to be like when it was tier 5, prior to, I can't even remember the patch number, but most of the Soviet heavy tanks were revised. The KV, as it was known at tier 5, was split into two tanks, the KV-1, which stayed at tier 5 with a stock turret and the 76mm gun, and the KV-2 became a new tier 6 heavy. Pretty much this thing, with the fridge turret and the 152mm or 107mm. And much was made of the fact that at tier 5 this tank used to quite happily fight tier 8. But that's the point that everybody makes when they refer to what the KV-2 used to be like, that it would quite happily fight tier 8s even as a tier 5 heavy. Well, let's not forget that the matchmaker spread works in both directions. What people forget is that tier 3 tanks used to have to fight this machine. Now just let that one roll around in your head for a few minutes. If you thought that tier 4 Panzer 38NA with its 50mm gun was struggling to do any damage to Absol, and he was, well, you'd be absolutely right, but imagine trying to do the same thing in an M22 Locust with a 37mm gun, because that's what World of Tanks used to be like. In fact, in a tier 5 match in World of Tanks, the only thing that could damage a KV, as the KV-2 in its current form was known, was another KV, or the Panzer IV, which at the time, and I'm not making this up, used to get the Panther's turret and gun. Seriously, I know the 357 matchmaker is pretty shit and really needs to be changed, but you guys have no idea. This game used to be so much worse, and yet we all enjoyed it, and we kept playing it, and we're still here. As is Absol, who now has not one but two KV-2s with which to crush the hopes and dreams of all of his enemies. Yeah, he won. Of course he won. He's a top tier KV-2. You'd have to struggle to lose when you're in this machine and fighting tier 4s, but at the same time it is still 11 kills. I mean, it's not your average KV-2 game. And I hope you enjoyed it, because that's pretty much it for today. The KV-2 are Valhalla, premium version of the KV-2, as they used to say in the Soviet Union. Upon the appointment of a new chairman of the Politburo, here comes the new boss, same as the old boss. That's it for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.